So sometimes the variable is not just x squared or, c squared. Sometimes it's a binomial squared. So like in this case, we have a minus 3, and this is the part that's being squared. So when we gave you the steps, we said get the squared part by itself. So we want to get that binomial square. We want to get that by itself. We're not going to multiply it out or anything. We just want to get it by itself. So the first thing is we've got to get rid of this 3 right there. Divide by 3 on both sides. Okay, then that gives me a minus 3, that binomial squared, equals, and then how many times does 3 go into 54? 18? Yes. Okay, so then now we're going to apply the square root principle. We're going to take the square root of both sides. So we take the square root of the left-hand side, we take the square root of the right-hand side, but put the plus or minus in, don't forget that. Okay, then on the left you get a minus 3, because you just, the square root and the square, they take care of each other, and so it's just a minus 3. And then on the right, you're going to go ahead and simplify it. It's going to be plus or minus, and then this is going to be 18 is 9 times 2, so it's going to be 3 because you took the square root of 9, and then times the square root of 2. Okay, now remember we're trying to solve for a, and we're almost there. The thing is, right now we don't have a equals, we have a minus 3 equals, and so we need to take this 3 and we need to take it to the other side, and I'm going to show you where it goes. It goes right there, right in front of the plus or minus. So you're going to be adding 3 to both sides, plus 3, and it's going to go right in front of that plus or minus. So you get a equals 3 plus or minus 3 square root 2. Now it's just kind of weird that they were both 3's, but that's just the way they wrote the problem. Okay, can you do anything with that? No, it's done. One is a 3, and the other is 3 times the square root of 2, so you can't combine them. All right, when you write the answers separately, you would write one of them 3 minus 3 square root 2, and the other one would be 3 plus 3 square root 2. And those would be the two answers. Okay, we've got another one. So this one involves some fraction work, but that's okay. So right now we have the x minus 1/2 squared equals 5 over 4. So we have the squared part by itself. We're going to go ahead and apply the square root principle. Take the square root of both sides. Don't forget the plus or minus. And then you have on the left x minus 1/2. And on the right, that's going to simplify to plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. You can take the square root of 4, so we don't have to rationalize the denominator because it's already rationalized. Okay, now what are we going to do with that 1/2? Well, it's a negative 1/2. It's going to come over as a positive 1/2. And so my solution is going to be x equals 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. Okay, now you'll see this written different ways. Sometimes the books will leave it just that way. I wouldn't, because the denominators are the same. I would combine it. So I would write my answer as 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. I would write it that way. Now, in writing it and putting it in WebAssign, they're going to want it separately, I believe. So 1 minus the square root of 5 over 2, that's one answer, and then 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. Now those are both real numbers. You could put those in your calculator and get a decimal approximation, but those are just two real number solutions. So there you go.